Good morning. So I'm introducing myself first. So myself, Dr.V.Gajendra. I'm having the 26 years of teaching experience. I completed my diploma in the year 1990 from Government Polytechnic Tirupati and B.Tech from Andhra Engineering College in the year 1993 and ME Master of Engineering in Highway and Transportation Engineering from MS University of Baroda, Gujarat in the year 1996. From 1996 onwards, so I am in the teaching, completely in the teaching. For the teaching of the subjects of the undergraduate level and postgraduate level, and I completed my Ph.D. from University of Hyderabad recently in the year 2023 December. So, and the total 26 years of experience in India and as well in abroad. I worked in Malaysia for the 2 years contract period and 2 years in Ethiopia for the 2 years contract period for the teaching of the undergraduate and as well as postgraduate subjects. For the today's session, I am going to be start with the transportation engineering subject. So the contents of the transportation engineering or the contents of the today's discussion for the subject is the first introduction of the transportation engineering, then the modes of transportation, history of the road development and the impacts of transportation and highway planning and design, JICA committee, how it is going to be responsible for the construction of the roads in India and the classification of the roads, finally the road alignment. So how the alignment is going to be taking place and what are the factors that we are going to be considered for the road alignment. So first, we are going for the introduction, the transportation engineering. Why we have to be study the transportation engineering and what is the importance of the transportation engineering? Actually, the transportation engineering will be dealing with the planning and designing of the transportation systems. So here, the transportation system may be one is comprises of the design and planning and design of the highway or road system and the planning and designing of the railway network and similarly planning and designing of the airways that comes under the runways and the terminal building, how we are going to be planning and designing. When it comes to that, the waterways that we are going to call as the inland transportation, for that how we are going to be designing the port terminals and the sea routes and how we are going to be constructing the berths in the seaports and as well as warehouses. So this all is going to be the responsible for the transportation engineering. Here planning and designing of the systems of transportation, one part is this one, another part is going to be called as transportation, the mode of the transportation on how we are going to be controlling the vehicular traffic, that we are going to call it traffic engineering. So the transportation engineering dealing with the planning and designing of construction of the roads as well as with the another aspect is that one, we have to see that the designing of the systems that we are going to be called as traffic systems, because that will be more important nowadays for the controlling of the traffic or the vehicular traffic itself. Next come to that the transportation engineering. What is the role of the transportation, or we can say that the objective of the transportation. So transportation is going to be starting from so that they are more important, it is going to contribute to the economical development, industrial development, cultural development or the social development. So there are the three areas that transportation is going to be majorly introducing and we are going to call it as the majorly we are going to be using the transportation, need of the transportation, because without the transportation the growth of the country is not possible. So that's why you can say that the adequacy of the transportation system of a country so indicates the economic and social development as well as inadequate of the transportation is going to be called as is the ill development of the country, or we are going to call there is no growth of the country is there without the transportation. And how it is going to be develops the growth of the country. Well, first we can say that so the industrial development. Suppose I want to start one industry. So for example, I want to start for the cloth industry. I want to need for the place. First of all, I have to locate a place. So that is within the city or away from the city. First, we are going to be finding out the location. Once we are going to be finding out the location, we have to see that that location is going to be accessible or not. So accessible means in terms of the transportation. The facilities we are going to provide for the transportation in terms of we have to be required for the cloth industry So we have to be required the so many raw materials will be required. Raw materials will be required, and for that labor will be required. So men and material will be required. For that we are going to be provided that the road facility, or we are going to call it accessibility. We are going to acquiring the materials from the various places, because within the place some of the materials we can able to get it, and some of the materials we are not going to be getting in the same place itself. So vicinity of the location we are unable to get it. For that materials we are going to be transporting from various locations, or transporting from various states or various places itself. For that required we are going to call it accessible, or the road network we are going to provide it. These raw materials we are going to be transporting to that the required place need the transportation, the facility we require. Once we got all the raw materials, then what we are going to do is we are going to be, so the production is going to be starts. The production completes, after that material is going to be ready. Once again the material has to be transported, means it is going to be called the retail or the golden places. For the retail or the golden places, or the golden places or the retail marketing we require. We have to be, so we are going to be saying that the material sales of the material will be required for the once again the transportation, means from the location we are going to be transporting the finished product to the required places itself. In that area also we require the transportation. In that way we can just, this is one of the example that we are going to be starting the cloth industry. For the cloth industry, what are the raw materials will be required, how we are going to be transported, and how the road network is going to be useful. Similarly, once it is going to be completing the product, and the product we have to be sent to the sales, and in that scenario also we require the transportation, because it has to be go to the different marketplaces within the place and outside of the place itself. So in that way their transportation is going to be playing a major role. That's why without road network, or without railways, or without airways, or without waterways, so the growth of the country is not possible. So growth of the country completely depends upon that, all the facilities of the transportation we are going to be provided. So now I am going for the, what are the different modes of the transportation. So the different modes of the transportation will be having that the four modes, major modes of the transportation is that roadways or highways, railways, airways and waterways. Here we have to see that what is the importance of the roadways or highways and how it will be helpful for the society. These are the four modes will be helping for the planning of the transportation. First, roadways or the highways, we can say that it is going to be called as the cheapest mode of transportation, and it is going to be called as door-to-door service to be provided. So that is one of the important advantage by using the roadway or highway, in that we are going to provide the door-to-door service, and also it is going to be called as the affordable prices for the travel. But here one disadvantage is that one, we cannot able to travel for longer distances, and load transported also is going to be minimal, or we can say that the less load is going to be transported from one location to the other location itself. So that is one of the disadvantages. That disadvantage is going to be overcome by the railways. The railways, we can able to see that in here we are going for the longer distance travel is going to be possible, and load transported. It means here men and materials, either in the case of the men and material, so the passengers, or otherwise we can say that the materials we are going to be called as the freight, we are going to be transported for longer distances is going to be possible with the cheapest rate. When compared to the roadway or the highway, either we are going to see that in the roadway or the highway, the vehicles we are going to be using are the bus or the van or the car or the truck we are going to be using. In that we are going to be transported men and materials with a limited possibility will be there, and limited distance we can able to travel. It's the longer distance it is not going to be possible, or it is not going to be affordable by the road transportation. While in the case of railways, here we can able to see that the longer distance travel is going to be possible, with that the load transport with the maximum weight is going to be transported, and similarly maximum number of passengers can able to transport from one location to the other location with affordable price when compared to the roadways or highways. Next come to the third is going to be called the airways. Here most important is that one. Here that advantage is that one, very fastest to travel. Advantage is that one, fastest travel. Whenever we have to require an emergency, we are going to be using the airways, or they are going to be called as the aeroplanes that we are going to use. Different types of the aeroplanes we are going to be using, either for the cargo flights, or the cargo aeroplanes are available, passenger aircrafts or aeroplanes are available. So to carry that passengers and as well as the cargo or the freight, or we can say that for the with the fastest to travel, airways is going to be providing with the fastest travel, and we can able to see that here over. So the mode of transportation will be fastest, but in the case of emergency only we are going to be using. Here the disadvantage is that one, so we can able to see that the disadvantage is that one, it is going to be expensive, the cost is going to be expensive one. That's why we are unable to provide is for the common mode of transport, or for the each and everyone cannot able to affordable. That's why airways is going to be called as the expensive system or the expensive transportation. Last comes to the waterways. Here we are going to be transporting men and materials from one location to the other location by using the ships. That is, we are going to be contact what is inland transportation, or in the seaways we are going to be provided. Here, one compared to that roadways or highways, railways, airways, waterways is very cheapest, but the disadvantage is that it will take more time to travel from one area to other area, or one location to the other location, or from one country to other country, or from one state to other state. Because here the load transported is also is going to be more load, or the more weight, or the more cargo, more freight is going to be transported, and as well as with the passengers, but it takes more time to reach the destination, or we are going to reach the different places or the different locations itself. But here what is the we can say that the cost related to the cost is going to be less when compared to the different modes of the transportation like highways, railways, airways and waterways. So this is about that how the transportation facilities are available for the men and material. We are going to be transporting from one location to the other location, or one location to the one place to the other place, or from one country to other country, how it is going to be helpful to the society. So this, once you are going to understanding the modes of the transportation, next comes to that what is the highway planning in India. Highway planning and design in India starts with, so the starting with the ancient period and to that what is the current period, how the transportation facilities is going to be varying. So next, so this is about what is the history of the road development in India. One is the ancient period, 3500 BC, then Mughal period, British period and free India, 1950 onwards itself. In ancient period, we can say that starting with the Rome. That's why, so we are having the Roman roads are going to be more famous. They started, or the pioneers in the road construction is going to be called as Romans. Started in the Roman period, that is the ancient period is going to be a Roman period. After that, the Mughals, they started. They started, and Mughals is going to be continued in the 15th century. After that, Mughals empire, then the British came into India, and they are going to be continuing the process of the construction of the roads, different types of the roads. Then finally, we came for the free India, and then the free India 1950 onwards. So Indian government is going to be taking the responsibility for the whatever the roads is going to be developed by the ancient Mughal period and British period, they are going to be continued. What are the problems they got it, and they are rectified, and they have to be started with the new phase of the roads in the 320-year road development plans. That is in 1950. For that, what is the basis? How they started the road development in India? For that, they started, or they have to be constituted the one committee. That committee we are going to call as the Jacob Committee in the year 1927. The importance of the Jacob Committee is that so this is the impact of the road development. Already we discussed about how the road development is going to be helpful for economical development, social development, spatial development and cultural development, lastly political development. Economical development is going to be called as with respect to that the finance, how we are able to get that income from the different modes of the transportation. Social development is that means that if there is no road they are going to be provided or no road is going to be constructed, that is going to be called as road is going to be constructed for linkage for the different places or for the different locations. If there is no road means there is no transportation of people. If there is no transportation of people or the movement of people is going to be standstill and there is no development with respect to the social. If there is the development or we are going to be constructing the roads are going to be provided to linkage for the different places, then automatically the people are encouraged to move from one place to the other place. They understand the different customs in the different parts of the India or different parts of the country. In that way, the road development or the transportation is going to be helpful for the social development. Spatial development also, what is the need of the different modes of the transportation and what is the development or what are the various ways that we are going to provide it comes under the spatial development. Because the number of vehicles is going to be increasing day by day and the ground or the provided the surface, ground surface is not going to be sufficient enough for the enhancement of the roads. For that, we have to go for the spatial development. Because in the vertical, horizontal development nowadays is not going to be possible. Then we have to see in that vertical way, or that is going to be called the flyovers. We are going to be constructed. The different flyovers we are going to be constructed to provide the access for the number of vehicles. So that comes under the spatial development. Then the cultural development and social development is going to be one and the same. And lastly, the political development. Wherever we are going for the development of the road, besides of the road, so it is going to be the fast development of the locality or the society is going to be taking place. In that way, for the development of the road, so the permission is going to be comes from the government. So the government is going to be providing the funds. So then finally we are going to be construction of the various types of the road is going to be possible. In that way, the political influence also will be there for the construction of the road development. For that, so the various, these are, we can say that the various phases of the development, or we can say that how the road transportation is going to be influencing that the economical development, social development, spatial development, cultural development, and as well as the political development. Then next is for the planning, highway planning in India is responsible for the Jaikar committee that is going to be constituted in the 1927. In this 1927 Jaikar committee, why the name is going to be given for the Jaikar committee is, for this committee the head of the person is going to be called Jaikar, M.R. Jaikar. He is the Jaikar with the various civil engineers around the India, and around the India they came for the forum and they constituted as a forum and they taken some policies related to that how the road transportation has to be developed, in what are the different objectives will be there and what are the phases, in what phases the road development has to be taken place. For that, first they are going to be given that first priority is going to be given that, so the new road development is going to be called as the national interest. Second is going to be called as road tax has to be collected from each transporter or whoever going to be using the road, we are going to be collecting the road tax. Third one is going to be called as one of the research organization will be required, or we can say that the scientific development will be needed. That is in the form of that we are going to be called as that is in the form of we are going to be called as the advisory committee. Advisory committee we required for that is we are going to call the Indian Road Congress, IRC. IRC is going to be responsible for the construction of the roads. For that, what are the specifications and what are the guidelines that will be needed? That is the third one is going to be called as technical knowledge, sharing of ideas, and to act as an advisory body in the form of the Indian Road Congress, IRC. Third one. And fourth one is going to be called as the research organization, because we want to give the specifications and guidelines and that how we have to be maintained. For that, one research body is going to be required, that we are going to be called as throughout the India Central Road Research Institute. Central Road Research Institute. The organization is going to be responsible for various researches or various innovations in the road development or in the transportation engineering. So first they will do the research and they have to be check out whether it is going to be getting the positive results or not. Once they get the positive results with respect to that specifications is going to be guidelines given by the Indian Road Congress, then they are forming that. So the one codal provisions or the code requirements is to be prepared by the Indian Road Congress. That will be helpful for all the highway engineers or the road engineers or the transportation engineers throughout the India. The same specifications and guidelines should be provided and they have to be followed throughout the India. Once the road is going to be constructed or the highway is going to be constructed, the same guidelines specifications constituted by the Indian Road Congress has to be followed. For that purpose, Indian Road Congress is going to be developing or is going to be preparing that the Indian Code of Practice or the regulations they are going to be provided in the form of a booklet and soft copies are also available. For that, who is going to be helping? So the Central Road Research Institute is going to be helping for that. First they did the research work and then from that, if you get the fruitful results, then they have to be provided the specifications and guidelines with respect to the book. If it is going to be failure, and then how we have to be, wherever the faults are there, that has to be rectified, and once again they will do the research, and finally we have to be get the fruitful results that has to be provided to that throughout the country. So that the results that are going to be provided throughout the country to be followed. So that is the, we can say that the functioning of this Central Road Research Institute. So next comes to the after understanding that the concept of the Jacob Committee, in that the national interest is going to be called the construction of the roads, and second one is the road tax, and third one is going to be called as advisory body in the form of Indian Road Congress, and fourth one is the research institute. So that comes under the CSIR labs, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. Comes under the Central Road Research Institute. They are responsible for the forming of the different standards. They did the research and innovations. After that, so we have to know about that what are the different classifications of the roads. So the classifications of the roads mainly depending upon what the functions they are going to be provided. So the classification of roads, first part is going to be called as the urban roads and second part is going to be called as the rural roads. So first we are going to be discussing about the rural roads. Classification of the rural roads is going to be comes as the first is express highways, second one is national highways, third one is state highways, fourth one is major district road and other district road, finally it is going to be called as village roads. Earlier we are having as per Nagpur road plan. Actually the classification is going to be done as per Nagpur road plan. Is there national highways, state highways, major district road, other district road and village roads. And the recent advancement in the road technology and for the different guidelines, they started with one more classification of roads is going to be called express highways. Here, the main advantage or the objective of the express highways is going to be provided that it is going to be called as a thorough roads. There is no interruption for other traffic signals that are going to be provided by the ways. Road construction is going to be called the express highways or the expressways itself. The name itself is going to be giving or indicating the meaning of that one. We can able to provide that accessibility for the main highways. Accessibility for the main highways and with the speed of 120 km per hour. Here, that's why we are going to be called as the first express highway is going to be started from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. First express highway is going to be constructed, or it is going to be called as there is no interruption. High speed corridors. We can say that the high speed corridors. Here, we can able to see that the advantage is that one we can go for with the high speed. There is no interruptions will be there from the traffic signals or any other traffic systems. And another is that one, the travel time. We can able to save the travel time. We are going to be starting from one location to the other location. So that is the main advantage by using the express highways. Then next is going to come as the national highways, NH. The national highways. Here it is going to be called the, what is the main objective of the national highways is that one, we are going to be connecting the important capitals of the cities and airports and seaports. So these are all we are going to be called as a major roadway network we are going to be provided within the India. Main purpose is going to be connecting with the major ports and major airports, major seaports, as well as capitals of all the states. And here the speed of the design speed is going to be called 100 km per hour. In the previous case, express highways, the design speed is 120 km per hour. Here the design speed is going to be called 100 km per hour. That is depending upon the type of construction we are going to be provided. And main objective is, this is also almost it is going to be called as thorough routes, but the interruption will be there. It is going to be connecting with the state to the national highway or the capitals of the important cities. That's why interruption will be there from the one area of access to the other area of the access. So this is about how the national highways is going to be constructed and is going to be helping for the country. The next is going to be called as the state highways. The name itself is going to be giving that the state. Here the responsible is going to be called as the state government department. State government are the responsible for the construction of the roads. Here the design speed is going to come from the 80 km per hour. And here it is access to the national highways and it is access to the lower level of roads is going to be called as major district road and the major district roads itself. It is going to be connecting all the places within the state, and also it is going to be connecting to the marketplaces of the low level areas, or we can say that the low level places itself comes under the low level roads, comes under the major district road. Next classification of the road is going to be called a major district road. It is access to the state highways, because directly we cannot go for the national highways. With the help of the state highways we are going to be connecting. So that's why major district roads is going to be responsible for all the traffic is going to be collecting from the lower level of roads, and from that they are going to be giving access to the state highways. And here the major district road, the speed of the design speed is going to comes under the 60 km per hour. And similarly, other district roads, ODR, also the design speed is going to be called as 60 km per hour, and the remaining places within the district, and it is going to be connecting to the village roads, collecting all the vehicular traffic, and is going to be given access to so the major road classification is going to be called as state highways. Finally, we are going to come to the village roads VR, because this is the most important for almost all. We are going to be getting the food products or the food or the remaining the groceries we are able to get from the villages. They are going to be collecting from the village, and they are going to be giving the road network to the higher level is going to be called as the district road, and from the district road they are going to access to the state highway, because village roads not going to be connecting directly to the state highway, or village roads is not going to be connecting directly to the national highway. So village roads comes another group of villages. We are going to provide the road network. There we are going to be collecting whatever the freight or the load will be there collecting, and they are going to be conveying to the higher level of roads as the state highways. Here the village roads, the design speed is going to be called 40 km per hour. So because the village roads are also is more important, how the express highways are important, village roads is going to be called as a part of the road network itself. From that we are going to be transporting to the lower level of roads. Next, continuing with the rural roads, next is going to be called the classification of the roads based upon that what is the type of surface we are going to be provided, and depending upon the seasons of the year. So depends on what seasons of the year, one is going to be called the all weather roads, and second one is going to be called as fair weather roads. In all weather roads, the road is going to be carrying out the vehicular traffic even with all the seasons. That one we are going to call it all weather roads, because there is no interruption due to the vehicular traffic due to that rainfall, or it is going to be called overflowing of the water. In that cases also we are going to be providing the smooth vehicular traffic, that we are going to be called the all weather roads. Next is the fair weather roads. So here, the quite opposite to the all weather roads. In fair weather roads, what is going to happen that if other than the rainy season, so other seasons of the summer and winter, the vehicular traffic is going to be possible, and the vehicular traffic is going moving from one place to other place is possible in the other seasons like winter and the summer season. But in the rainy season, the causeways is going to be overflowing the water, and that is going to be interrupting, means the low level, the culverts, low level culverts is going to be full of water and it is going to be overflowing on the roadway, or we can say that the causeways, then that is not going to be possible to vehicular traffic, because vehicle cannot move with respect to the flow of water or the speed velocity of the water in the causeway itself. That's why we are going to call it fair weather roads is not going to be functioning during that the floods or during that the rainy season. Only other than that the rainy season, so the functioning of the roads we are going to call as fair weather roads. Next is going to be called as the another classification of the roads is going to be based upon the surfacing we are going to be provided, that we are going to call as surface roads and unsurfaced roads. So surface roads means we are going to be providing with the covering. For that surface roads example we are going to be giving as one is bitumen road, another one is going to be called as cement concrete roads. In bitumen, the top surface of the road we are going to call it as a bitumen, or we are going to call it bitumen binder we are going to be provided. Lower levels we are having that is the soil, subgrade soil. Above that we are going to be provided with the coarse aggregate by the subbase and base courses, and very coarse we are going to be provided with the bitumen. If it is going to be bitumen concrete, it is going to be called the petroleum product. It is going to be binding the coarser material, and they are going to provide the smooth riding capability for the vehicles. That called as a bitumen concrete road. Another one is going to be called as another material. So the most widely used construction material in the constructions is going to be called cement concrete. So instead of the bitumen binder, we are going to be provided the cement concrete. The surface we are going to be covering with the, so the remaining layers will be the same one. So the subgrade or the foundation layer will be comprises of the soil. Above that one we are going to be provided the blanket layer. Above the blanket layer we are going to be provided the cement concrete slab. Cement concrete slab we are going to provide as the bearing surface. So that is going to be functioning for the riding capability for the vehicles. That we are going to call as surface roads. So surface roads will be having two classifications. One is the bitumen concrete or the bitumen road, or another one is going to be called as cement concrete roads. Then contrary to that one is going to be called as unsurfaced roads. Here earth roads is going to be, or the gravel roads is going to become as the unsurfaced roads, because we are not going to be providing with that the binder of bitumen or binder of cement concrete. Without that one, we are going to be laying the roads that we are going to call unsurfaced roads. In this category, unsurfaced roads are comes as the gravel roads or the earth roads. So earth roads normally we can able to see in the villages, and similarly the gravel roads also is going to be seen. We can able to see that in the villages or the district roads is going to be laid out by using the gravel roads, by using the coarse aggregate material. So this is about how we are going to differ with the surface and unsurfaced roads depending upon that the surface course we are going to provide. Next is going to be called as the classification of the roads based upon that the carriageway. The carriageway means we are going to be carriageway. Simple answer is that one. We can say that carrying the vehicular traffic. That's why we are going to call it carriageway, or we are going to call it lanes, single lane road, single carriageway roads, and dual or multiple carriageway roads. The single carriageway means only single lane we are going to be provided for the up and down vehicles. Both the ways we are going to be provided. That we are going to call a single carriageway roads. And next is going to be called a dual or multiple carriageway roads. Means number of lanes will be increasing. 2-lane road, 3-lane road, and 4-lane road comes under the dual or the multiple carriageway roads. So here automatically vehicular traffic, wherever the case vehicular traffic will be more, in that places we have to be adoption of the multiple carriageway roads. If a single carriageway is going to be provided, vehicular traffic will be less, or the traffic volume will be less. Where the places of traffic volume will be less, we can able to go for the option of single carriageway roads. Where the vehicular traffic or the traffic volume will be more, the option will be only for the multiple carriageway or the two-lane carriageway ways we are going to be provided. Then the next is going to be called as the heavy traffic road, medium traffic road, and light traffic road. With that, so more traffic or the heavy traffic means tonnage. The tonnage we are going to be transported based on that heavy, medium, and the light traffic roads. With this, I am going to be concluding the session.